Now, before we dip out, this doesn't have to take very long. I just kind of want to get a little read on the room here. You know, Switch 2 is coming out in a couple weeks. How's everybody feeling about Switch 2? I'll go last. We can go in the same order as, you know, we did the list. So I'll let Melina go first, and then Alex, and then Colin, then I'll go. What's the temperature with Switch 2? How are we feeling? You know, what are we doing? Melina, go ahead. You look like you had a lot to say.
The temperature is below 0.
Oh no.
I'm gonna be honest. I was like, I'm sorry, we're starting at 450, 400. And I, in a way, I'm like, okay, because the pre-sales is sold out. You're obviously gonna have people that will dish out for a product that they're gonna absolutely love. So I'm like, okay, because I did the same for Tears of the Kingdom. There were a lot of people that were like, oh, it's just DLC, like they were saying, they're not gonna get it. But you have diehard fans that are gonna dish it out. So, and like, yes, I've grown up with Nintendo my whole life, so I would say that, yeah, I'm a diehard fan, but I'm just like, that's a lot of money. I'm also moving out, which is gonna be a whole other thing. So I am gonna be holding back on it, waiting till maybe a price drop, personally. But yeah, and while I do know the difference, like, because you were like, oh, you've seen the side-by-side of, like, Tears of the Kingdom running better on the Switch 2 and everything, while I do understand, like, the lag, it's annoying and everything, it really didn't hinder my gameplay of it, or my experience with it, so I've always been kind of meh about that aspect, but yeah, so I'm gonna just be playing the waiting game.
That's fair.
But
Alex?
to anybody out there that do not, don't let that discourage you. If you want to go get it, please go get it.
Alex, how you feeling about Switch 2?
Well, I was hoping to get a pre-order from it myself on GameStop, but here's two main issues that I encountered. The first one, the day before the pre-orders came out, there was a massive wildfire right by my house.
Oh yeah.
And the GameStop was in the same town that wildfire was hit the biggest. So that GameStop, it was not an option. And 2, because of it, my only option was to pre-order online. The GameStop servers were down.
Yep,
the moment
tanked.
the pre-orders went up, so I missed a lot. Thanks to a massive wildfire. I thought my only option now was to wait months just for a console to come back.
Don't worry, I got
that
you.
guy just mewed.
Huh?
Nick just mewed at that.
Oh gosh.
So it was honestly really sad because I was super hyped to like get in line to pre-order it, and then I just hear about my friends being able to pre-order it and either in store or online, and I'm like, how did I get the short end of the stick and end up almost choking from smoke.
He's like, I almost died and I didn't even get Switch 2. I got nothing to show for it.
I'm super excited to play Persona in 4K 60, but there's one thing I am concerned about is my digital downloads being accessible on the Switch 2. I'm hoping that's possible.
I mean, it's all gonna, it's system transfer. It's just like getting transferring from a Switch to an OLED. Everything will move over. Everyth's still on your account. All your, save data goes to the cloud, which, rare in general. Pro-consumer move from Nintendo. They have a dedicated server that you can upload all of your Switch data to if you need to sell your Switch to pay for the Switch 2 before it comes out. Because that's a big issue. That's why I haven't gotten rid of my OLED yet, is because I have to wait till I get Switch 2 and then transfer everything over. And I'm in a financial position where I don't have to do that. I'm lucky enough to not have to do that. But I know a handful of people who have had to do that, where they're like, well, I need the money from my Switch to pay for my Switch 2. So the fact that they're aware of that and offering that as an option, I think is really cool, because it's the reason a lot of people don't trade in their stuff. Because like, well, then all my, stuff goes away.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
And that's good because Persona 3 and 4 are only available digitally on Switch, so I still need to complete my FMC run.
All right, Colin, tell me about Switch 2. How you feeling?
Not too great. So I think if I do get a Switch 2, it's definitely going to be like secondhand, just because I'll be real, I don't care to buy it right now. There aren't, like, the only way I would actually get it is one, if we get a new Zelda game announced. I'm probably just gonna buy Metroid Prime 4 on the Switch 1 because it can run with that. But also, one of my big things I'm not looking forward to and I'm not really excited about is the whole like user agreement stuff, because I don't know if you guys heard about that, but basically the biggest issue you run into now is Nintendo can just turn off your console at any point. And
That's my concern.
never turn it back on. And they've said, oh, that's only for modding and stuff like that. I don't trust that.
I mean, I wouldn't really come across that issue because I don't really like to mod anything. For me, I just like to keep things the way they are.
That's what I'm saying is, like, I won't mod it, but I still don't like that. Like, if I pay for a console, I should have it, and I should just not. I shouldn't have to worry about Nintendo being able to turn off my console.
It's just I understand your concern. It's the idea that they have access to turn off your console.
Yeah, like they can just turn it off at any point. And so basically, like literally they can just do that. And also, my only other like big concern is like I just don't like how they're handling the physical games now. Like I understand it's a point. It's like, okay, they need to have the games run better, so it has to be more of like how they're doing it now. But also, it sucks because again, it is just you are buying a key to the game. You're not buying the game itself. You are buying a license to it that can be revoked at any point.
I've hated that mindset that these major game companies have. Like, it's just a way for them to talk down on us as if like we control your library.
I mean, a lot of things do. Like, that's the biggest thing is if Steam ever goes down, that is going to be catastrophic to the games industry.
Oh my gosh, I have too many games on Steam that I put a lot of money in.
That's a huge thing. Is like it's going to be incredibly catastrophic. But I don't think it's not going to go down for that reason. But no, that's my biggest issue that I like have regarding the Switch 2 is that it's just like, one, I don't like that there is always going to be a chance that Nintendo will just turn your console off if they don't like it. And also that, you're just not physically owning the games. You're just owning a license, and it's just not cool.
So I'll come in and be the little the
Saving
bastion
grace.
of positivity here. I'm very excited for Switch 2. Now, okay, I don't say that because I
Day
think
one Nintendo Glazer over here.
No, literally, dude. Okay, here's my thing about Switch 2. I think there are a lot of very valid and very genuine concerns out there. Like Colin said, the ability to brick your console at any given point. Even if it is, well, I'm never going to mod my console, it's still the idea that, yes, they can come in at any point and they have the ability to brick your console, right? Like, if you buy it, you shouldn't be able to do that, even if it's like I'm modifying it. And I listened to someone break down the EULA, and they're like, yeah, well, it's really only if you mod your Switch and then you try to get on the servers, then they'll brick it because they want to protect the people who don't mod it. And I get that, but again, it's the principle of it, right? Or the game key cards. I think that's a very valid concern because, like, physical media is going away, and that is a problem because if it's all digital, what happens if, the store goes down or we get, you can't go on the Wii shop anymore and you can't use the Wii U and 3DS eShop. Like, digital, yes, it has convenience, but there's also other stuff that needs to be put in place. And I also think, to Melina's point, the price point is a little higher than past Nintendo consoles, especially coming from the Switch that was $300. And I think, stuff's expensive. If you got other stuff
Yeah.
you got to pay for, I mean, it is what it is. It's a Switch. It's
Yeah.
like you don't need it to live. But my issue comes in, and this has been a really big issue, is people just don't understand what they're talking about. I'm not saying anyone here is doing that, but like generally speaking, there are people who are like, well, the Switch is $450. Okay, well, you know, they're making, I think it came out this week, their manufacturer price is like $338, and then after you factor in shipping and tariffs and taxes, like they're closer to, you know, $400. So they're not really making that much of a profit off of it. Or the game key cards, where people are like, well, every game's going to be on a game key card, and you like it's digital and you can't own it anymore. And it's like, okay, game key cards are not ideal, right? Nobody really wants these, but at the same time, the game key cards function the exact same way that like PlayStation and Xbox discs have for the past 10 years.
Mhm.
So if you're like, you can be upset about it, but also direct that anger at Xbox and PlayStation, who have been doing this for the like foreseeable past. This is not a new thing. If anything, the key cards are an improvement on the code in a box that we had with Switch, where it's like, hey, buy this game and you get a download code and that's it. At least with the game key cards, if you buy a game and you don't like it, you have the ability to resell it because it is a physical cartridge that you have to have inserted. So it works the same way as like all the PlayStation games, where, oh, I didn't like, you know, God of War, right? Like, oh man, what a boo game. I can take it back to GameStop and sell it for 2 cents. Like, it's not a digital game that I'm stuck with. And Nintendo came out this week and said that they have no plans to use game key cards for their first party games at all. Like, it's not for them. It's purely a third party thing. Now, there's something to say for the fact that they're only offering 64 gigabyte cartridges or game key cards. They're like either 64 gig or die, and no in between. So games like Sonic X Shadow Generations that are nowhere near 64 gigs are like, okay, fine, we'll use a game key card because we don't like paying for a lot of wasted space here.
Yeah.
So I think there are a lot of valid criticisms to be had and things to like be thrown at Nintendo as they move into this new generation. I'm still overall really excited, and just my takeaway is, if you're going, like, there's fair criticism be labeled, but just make sure you're criticizing accurately and not saying like, oh, well, this game is $90. Nope, there's no $90 games. Mario Kart is $80. That's the cap. They've already said not every game's going to be $80. This is bog standard stuff, guys. Like, it is what it is. So I'm not opposed to criticizing Nintendo as much as I glaze them and like, yeah, I'll be there with Switch 2 day one playing Mario Kart because I got my pre-order in and I got the Pro Controller and like I did all this stuff. But also, you know, criticism's fair when it's fair. So that's where I'm at with Switch 2. I don't really know if there's anything Nintendo. Well, no, I don't want to jinx it, but I don't know if there's anything Nintendo could do that would make me be like, ooh.
Don't
I
say
don't know
that,
about that one,
because
Chief.
don't say
They'll
that
pop
because
in
I
on
thought
Monday
the
and
same.
be like, we're killing.
Don't say that because I thought the same thing, and when I saw that, I was like, ooh.
Brother, ew.
I think the closest thing that like came to crossing my line was the EULA. But even then, like, it doesn't bother me personally because I've signed the same EULA to use the PlayStation and Xbox that's sitting on my thing right now. Like, and I already accepted it to use it for my Switch now. So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it sucks, yeah, it's stupid, but also this concept is in every EULA for every electronic device that we own, and we're not going to stop using phones. We're not going to stop playing games on Xbox. Like, if it gets out of control and they just start bricking people's systems at random, then yeah, that's a problem. But as of right now, I'm like, it's whatever. It is what it is. It's Nintendo being Nintendo. And that was my thing. Is like I was a little upset that everyone got so like up in arms about this week, of all the PlayStation fans who were like, oh, look at Nintendo doing bad stuff. And I'm like, bro, you literally, the console you play on all the time has the exact same thing in their terms of service. Like, it's just people hating Nintendo because it's Nintendo.
Something I also want to point out with the Switch 2, and I find it hilarious because it shows that people don't know why Nintendo is the only company that actually has exclusives still. So a lot of people are talking about how PlayStation and Xbox all have games like that are playable either on their dedicated console or PC.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, we should be able to play games whenever on whatever system we want, and exclusives shouldn't exist. And I'm like, exclusives are the reason we have video games here in the first place.
Yeah, because even if you just play on PC, well, then it's exclusive to PC. Like, I'm not gonna lie, chronically online PC gamers have to be some of the most obnoxious people on the planet. Like,
I'm one of them.
Honestly, well, no, but you're not like that obnoxious. Like
That
you're
obnoxious.
normal.
So I am obnoxious.
You're a normal PC gamer. I'm talking about the people who are like,
not that you're one of the good ones.
I'm gonna play Tears of the Kingdom on my PC because piracy is okay. I'm like, no, stop. No.
The only games,
No,
the only
we're
Nintendo,
not.
the only Nintendo games I emulate are Pokemon ROM hacks because they're not available literally anywhere else.
I could do a whole podcast with my thoughts on piracy, but I won't. We'll stop here for now.